turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is back in session. Here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure you reach out to us at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today. And I am joined today by a very special guest. He is an unbelievable vocalist, dancer, entertainer, just in general. We have a great conversation geared up for you guys with him. He is bursting on the scene. I think the sky's the limit for you, man. And I feel like you're just sort of like scratching the surface
I know right now.
And people starting to understand who you are and get to know you. This is going to be a great introduction to you. Yeah. This is none other than Jared Vasquez.
Hello. Hi. How's everybody doing? Thank you for tuning in.
Dude, thanks for being here. This is amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I don't get these opportunities often. So when I do, I like grab it and don't let go. So thank you very much.
You are very welcome. And we know each other from the masterclass album that I did, because I'm doing, should be out very soon when this is dropping, and then, or at least your song will be the one that you're on. We'll probably maybe peep that, talk a little bit about it later on, but it's pretty cool, man. So you submitted to this song, to Lucas's song.
Yes.
And we loved it and got you on it with Jita and Lib. It's definitely I think it's one of the better songs that I've been a part of, for sure. I love every song on this album, but that one is very special, I think, in a lot of ways. Just
I love it.
Yeah, the way what you guys wrote about, and just I'm excited for people to hear it.
Yeah, we wrote about completely like different things, but then it all kind of ties in at the same time. And
it was all like about loss in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure. And we just connected so well when we were in the studio, especially coming from I remember texting this in the group chat that we had, where we left, and I felt when before we got into that session, I was insecure, a little bit insecure, because I'm an LGBT artist that doesn't necessarily, I wouldn't say doesn't necessarily get the same opportunities, but I'm never really around that many straight artists at once. I'm always around queer artists, not even queer artists, but queer dancers mainly. That's because I was dancing with a team called Quam, Queens with a Mission in Boston. It's a hip hop dance team. So we formed that in 2017. So I've been dancing with them for a while. So going into a session where it's just all straight guys, I was like, oh my God, I'm back in middle school. I need to be really insecure and clammed up. But I felt none of that. And I texted that to everybody. And it was it just made the whole thing awesome. And I didn't feel weird singing in front of everybody in the booth if I messed up. It wasn't crazy at all. It was very organic.
I think we really appreciated that. I mean, I can't almost speak for everybody, but I know even conversations I had separately with a few people and from the group, we were really appreciative that you sent that. And I think that we were glad that we were able to cultivate a safe space just for you. And I think that's the goal, right? Me specifically, I always want to make sure I'm creating safe spaces for the people that come into my space, or something that of course is, something that I'm sort of executive producing. I wanted to make sure everybody's comfortable. And I think too, for us as well, I think in a lot of ways, I'm not saying that, we don't work with, LGBTQ plus, artists or people in the scene or whatever. But I think, like you said, on the flip side, I think it was maybe good for all parties involved to have that experience. You know what I mean? So I think it just normalizing that a bit more, right? It's your sexuality and doesn't really make a huge difference.
Exactly. No, it doesn't.
The vibes are there. The vibes are the vibes.
Right.
And
I'm glad that that's what it was, especially because it could get lost in that, but it didn't at all.
No,
it felt great.
No. I'm super excited about the song. So it's called Spell It Out. It will be out pretty soon. It's gonna be one of the singles off of Masterclass, which should be out in a couple months here as we're talking here. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, we start with the objective on these episodes, and the objective is, getting to know a little bit about you and your background. And I was going to start in a different place, but I guess I'll actually want to start, now that we're on the subject, about you being an LGBTQ artist. I'm curious, like, how you've sort of, because we had a little bit of a phone call actually yesterday when we were speaking, and you said something that really interested me that I'm curious if you could elaborate a bit on. You had said you want it to be a part of your identity and your artistry, but you don't want it to be the entire sort of piece of you.
Right.
So I'm curious if you can elaborate on that a bit more, and then just overall, like, your experience being a musician in the industry, like how you've sort of handled all of that.
Right, yeah. I mean, I've gotten some amazing opportunities. I've performed at Boston Pride a couple times. I performed at Rhode Island Pride. So getting to perform for my people and being surrounded by my people is like I have done so many shows, and those shows were honestly my favorite because the energy is just so crazy. Everybody's like practically drunk or high, and like it's just vibes. It's just amazing. Like nobody's judging at all. Like it all just feels so welcoming. And I kind of, ever since I was a kid, like I don't know why, but like I always told myself like I don't want to be one of those like gay artists or gay actors or whatever that come out and have like a magazine cover where it says like I'm gay. Like I don't want that to be the first thing that people like learn about me, Sure. I want people to learn of my music and how good it is and how good of a performer I am and how good of a dancer I am, and then be like, oh, he's gay, all right, whatever, like he's a queer artist, cool. But I don't want me to be like, I am Jared Vasquez, a queer artist. Like I'm not interested in having that be a part of my title,
Understood.
But I'm like if I ever were if I ever were to get the opportunity to go to like a fundraiser or anything like that where I'm speaking for us, oh my God, yeah, I would love that. I would love to be like someone that can be looked up to in that regard. And it's awesome. I actually, with dancing, because I am a Boston Celtics dancer, by the way. Yes, if you didn't know that.
We'll get there.
Dancing with the Celtics, we actually just got a message, I think a couple weeks ago I did actually. No, I'm sorry. I got a message a week ago from a friend where he texted me and he was like, I just had a little boy come in, one of my students. He showed me a video of some like that he recorded at one of the games, and it's us dancing, specifically me.
No
and
kidding.
He's like, I really want to be like that guy when I grow up. And I'm like, oh, come on, man.
That's
like,
special, man.
Yeah, it really
that's
is.
Gotta hit you, like,
it really
right
does,
there. Yeah.
Especially being almost 30 and doing this for so long. And I lost the passion for a long time, and I just have it back now. And then for little kids to see that,
Sure.
they can actually see the passion, that it's authentic and like want to do that too. It's just amazing. We actually just did a game where we performed with a crew called Lil Funk, where we just did a whole dance with them.
Yeah, they've been at the Celtics for years. I'm been a huge Celtics goer my whole life, like just actually being a huge fan of basketball. I've played for a long time. I just finished my last season of coaching this past year. I mean, that's just like my place. I love the Garden. I love watching the Celtics, especially when they're good.
The energy is amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly,
But Lil Funk's been there forever. I
Yeah.
actually grew up with a kid who his younger brother danced with them for a number of years, so I'm familiar. But and I think this game that I saw you at pretty recently, they were also there. I remember they were.
Yes, they did like their own halftime show. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
I love that story though. That must have, like I said, must have felt so good for you to hear, especially coming from a young boy who, sometimes that type of dancing might not be, seen as something that is, socially acceptable. But I feel like it's becoming more socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Like I think I think our generation started to normalize it a bit more. I think the generation coming up as well I'm not saying they don't care, but I don't think they discriminate as much on those certain things. I was talking
about this with somebody. I was talking about this with my friend where I was like, or even my dad, I don't remember, but it was like, I was like, oh, when I'm like 60 or something years old, I feel like because of this generation coming up, we're going to be in a much better place socially, because 100%. A lot of these Gen X people or Gen Z people or whatever, it's not really that much of an issue anymore, and it's so awesome to see. And of course there is still many issues, but
of course
not as it isn't as terrible, like from when I was 10, 11, 12 years old,
or even before our lifetime. Right?
Yeah,
for sure,
absolutely.
I mean, one movie I remember in particular with Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. I remember seeing that at a young age, and asking my mom about it, like not
Right.
quite understanding it, of course, me being, heterosexual, but just like not understanding like why would they what was wrong with him? I don't understand. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like why was he so discriminated against?
That's
Like
great
it
to
didn't
have
make
that
sense.
mindset as a kid. That means you were raised right. So that's
Yeah, no,
amazing.
my mom did well.
That's
She
awesome.
really did. And I remember her like explaining it to me a little bit.
That's
and,
great.
and which was great. But no, I think you're right. I think that there is sort of a new age of thinking of this. And again, I've always said this. I mean, I completely feel this way where it's like, it doesn't affect me if you're gay, trans, queer, whatever. So like,
Right.
why would I waste my time worrying about that?
I don't know. I have no idea. That's the age-old question.
That it really
Like,
is,
come
right? I'm sure that's
on.
the question, the burning question.
No, for real.
People in the queer community probably ask themselves all the time.
All the time. Can we just live our lives? That's all
Seriously.
we're doing. Because you're
It's-
living your life.
Right,
Like,
right.
what are we doing that is so, I don't know.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
to me.
I really
But
don't.
I think that was so well said with you saying that you want to be someone that represents the community.
Absolutely. I do. I really do.
You do,
I don't want
100%.
this to come off like, ugh, I don't want to be representing them. Like, absolutely not. Bitch,
No,
put
no,
me in
you
front.
said
Like,
it.
can I swear? I'm
Yeah, of
sorry.
course you
Oh,
can.
okay.
Yeah, go
All
for
right.
it.
I say bitch a lot, but no, like I really do. I would totally be fine with, not fine. I would totally love to be upfront supporting all of the LGBT community, you know,
Sure,
like,
no
but
doubt.
continue. Yeah.
No. I just say I think you said I think it was really well said how you
Yeah.
know that you don't want that to be your entire identity, right? You want that to be some it, but it's
Right.
not the first thing that.
Right.
Which
Because
is
I make
ironic,
great
'cause it's the
music.
first
I
thing.
make amazing
You
music,
do.
but like I also say that because I make some R&B music, you know?
Totally.
And
yeah.
can you think of any mainstream R&B gay artists right now? Because I can't at the top of my head.
I can't either.
So like, you know,
It's a good point.
it's just that type of demographic.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be like, he's gay, so I'm not going to listen to his music because he's like singing about a guy or some shit, you know? Like, but my music is good. I'm sorry. I
It
make
is. I agree.
good
That's why you're here.
music, and that's like why I want to have that be the main focus instead of people
Totally.
being like, he's gay, I don't want to listen to him, or I don't want to come to his shows because he's gonna be dancing a little sassy or whatever the case may be, you know, like that's the thing. So
Maybe look inward then.
right, yeah.
It's a great actually transition point because I feel as though I'm very just so much infatuated with you as an entertainer because again from the dancing perspective, singing. So I'm curious where all of that began for you. It feels like something that's just been naturally embedded in you from a young age. But I'm curious, like, if you can recall back to a point where you really were like, I love singing, I love dancing, like I want to take this seriously. And also like which kind of came first? Was it the dancing first? Was it the singing? Or were you always just like, I want to be an entertainer no matter what?
It was the dancing first, for
Okay.
sure. My first love was dancing when I first saw Britney Spears at the 1999 Video Music Awards. She came out from behind the locker, and boom, boom, my loneliness, and I was like, that's it. That I swear, I was 5, and I was like, I need to do that for the rest of my life.
She was big when we were like.
She was crazy. She was crazy.
Yeah.
It was wild. I don't think we have a pop star like that anymore. Like that was that famous, like as crazy and in demand as she was. So seeing that at 5, I'm like, oh my God, I need to be a dancer for the rest of my life. Like this needs to happen. And my mom and dad saw me dancing when I was like 4 or 5 years old in the living room. Just I had so much energy, ADHD, and they were like, we don't know what to do with all this, so we're just going to put you in dance class. And if you don't like it, you don't have to stick with it. It's just to see if it helps. And it did. Oh, I loved the attention at 6, 7, 8 years old on stage. Oh, I lived for it. Oh my God. I had never had stage fright. I was like 3 years old. There's video of me 3 years old where my sister was like 6 singing in her school concert. It's over. Everybody's leaving. I'm at the edge of the stage crying like, why isn't it like, I can't talk yet, but they're like, I'm like, why is everybody leaving? I want to perform next. And I'm crying because people are leaving. So like that was me way, as such a young age, but Britney really was like, oh, I could do that. I want to do that. And so dance was like a really big thing for me. It still is obviously, but like it was the main focus. Till like I would say like 16.
Okay.
Because I really started like singing when I was like 11, 12. Christina Aguilera got me into singing. So 11 or 12 trying to sing her songs was not cute. So, you know, what I would do is I would take her songs or any of all of my favorite singers were girls. So of course their ranges are much higher than mine. So when I was younger, I would take their songs and lower the pitch on some like software to kind of match my range. And then I would fuck with their runs and stuff and kind of try to learn vocal control that way. So I was never really like taught. I kind of taught myself in a sense. So I started making music when I was like 16, recorded in like a bedroom closet, and just made stupid mixtapes and stuff like that, you know, all the while I'm dancing. This is all happening while I am competing, winning titles, dancing 4 days a week at a studio. Like, you know, dance is still has always been my main priority, and music has really become like a real focus. I would say like within like the last year, honestly, you know, like getting to perform at a bunch of the things that I did this summer. But you know, the music came when I was 16, 17, 18. And then I've just recorded a bunch of stuff ever since then. That's kind of just like my way of therapy, honestly, is the songwriting. And then the dancing is my selfish side of wanting to be seen and perform and loving the lights and the applause and the loud music. And it's just amazing to be able to do both. And they both fill such an amazing part of my heart that like nothing else will. Yeah.
And complement themselves quite nicely as well.
Yeah. And I'm glad I can do them both.
Right, 100%.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for you, like, when did you sort of realize, like, both of those two things could live in the same sort of vein and, like...
I've always thought that. because of Britney. Obviously, she didn't sing live, but just to be able to see that you can make music that you can sing and dance to, that was always my goal. My goal was to be Britney. My goal was to be the male Britney. Like, that was it. So I wanted to actually, like, sing because I could sing, not when I was younger. That took a while. It took a while to find my voice.
Right,
like, it really did. And I think I would say by, like, honestly, by, like, 25, that was when I really, like, found my range and my voice.
Gotcha.
So making music at a young age, I was really trying to find it. But I always thought that whenever I was able to be a artist, get to perform or whatever, I always said, you'll always find me doing choreography. If the event calls for it, I'm going to do choreography and I'm going to sing live at the same time. It's going to suck probably, but I'm going to do that because that's what I've always wanted to do. And that's how I see an entertainer, like an artist, like, you know, like, not discrediting anybody, but a lot of artists these days just stand around and bop side to side. And for me, because I grew up with the great pop girls, that I'm like, oh my God, no, I need to put on a show. I need to perform. I need to entertain. Like, that's just how I'm built. And that's how I've always thought to myself, like, I'm not an entertainer unless I like dance and sing at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it's well said. It's funny with Britney Spears, like, I can still remember and picture like the Toxic music video, like that's how like iconic, you know what I mean? Like she really was. She had a run that was just
from like 99 05.
Oh, absolutely.
She owned it.
She was it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, that's a really great background. I'm happy for you that you feel like you found a way to sort of bring them both into the main
now
fold
that I'm
of you.
being able to perform more, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, I really do. So.
Yeah, which leads us into the next segment of the show, which is called the main lessons. So now we talk about the things that you got going on now, and of course, I definitely want to talk about the album, Effects of the Gray.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard this thing yet, it's linked in the description. Do not leave yet. Wait till the end to check it out because
yes, please.
We got plenty more with Jared, so don't go yet. But I'm in love with the album. It's so good, man. It's great. You really, I think, nailed the idea of the production and the engineering being a lot more atmospheric, even dark a lot of the time too. I think it juxtaposes really well with the way in which you pitch your vocals and just how high some of the notes can be and how soft your vocals can be too. So it's almost like the production remind me, and the aesthetic kind of reminded me a bit of The Weeknd, but you don't really sing that way. There's like, I can't quite pinpoint how you sing.
Yeah.
But it's
which I guess is a good thing.
It's a complete different take on it. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's a complete different take on it. So it's a great project. About 48-minute run time, roughly, right? 16 tracks. I think there's so many great songs on it. Dancing with My Shadow is probably like my favorite. The run of blanking on me, what's the song before Dancing with My Shadow?
Weakness.
Yes, those two songs are probably my favorites, but there's a bunch of songs I really, really like. But anyway, what was that process like of making that record? Because for you, I feel like you put a lot of emotion into it as well. So I feel like that could have been emotionally taxing. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about it.
Oh, yes, it was. It was hard. I started making this album. I started finding beats for it early 2022. So like my album Dreamland wasn't even out yet. It wasn't even recorded yet. I was already coming up with this project, and that just goes to show how like far gone I was in my mind of just how I just wanted to escape my reality that I was in and just keep focusing on the next and the next and the next. And I can see that personally in this music, especially listening to the album finished and all that. But yeah, I started working on it early of 2022, and it started off completely different. Actually, it started off a whole different album. I had like 20 songs, and I really wanted to like create like a story, and I was like, I gotta have all these. And then I lived with it for so long, and then I just kept listening to the beats, and I'm like, no, I'm not connecting with them anymore. So a lot of what you hear was found, I want to say like a lot of it was found this year. When I was when I went through my breakup in March, I just threw myself into the music. So I like revamped the track list a lot. Black and White was never on it. I'll Be Ready was never on it. Catching Fire was never on it. So like,
great. I like that Catching Fire track's
great too. That's a fun one.
I like that one.
Yeah. So a lot of it wasn't on it. So, it was a hard album. It was a very introspective, experience, because now that I was out of a relationship that I completely self-sabotaged, I had time to think and be like, okay, I've made an album where I was self-deprecating myself like the whole fucking time. And then I made an album where I escaped reality and didn't want to face my problems. So what am I going to do next? I'm going to write an album where I own up to everything that I did and grow from it, and no longer let myself tell myself, oh, your mistakes are going to dictate your future or whatever. Yeah. Like, no, it's not going to happen. So, writing, writing Black and White was awful. It was so hard. I wrote that first verse on the way to my apartment at the time when I had to move all my stuff out. So, I was like, I was feeling so much emotion. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with all of this? And I was like, well, you know what? Let me write a song. Let me try to write something, see if it works. And so I wrote that first verse. I wrote the rest of the song like later on.
Okay.
But it's hard. That's a hard song. That it's just, it really like, kind of solidified that a 7-year relationship has come to an end. And
that's tough. Yeah.
It's a new chapter. And to be the person that was the one that fucked everything up is awful. It's hard to kind of look at yourself in the mirror.
But can I commend you for that for a second though? Yeah. Because I think that is the first step to like kind of face it, like to grow. Like you're talking about this growth sort of part, because a lot of people get stuck there. They can't even get to the point where they like want to admit to even to themselves.
I was there for like 3 years.
Yeah, but you got there. I think,
I did.
And even though the relationship is no more, I think that when you inevitably get into your next relationship, the one that will be the next serious one, you won't make those same mistakes, or at least you'll be more conscious about that before you go and do that. And then just to be vulnerable and accountable, I think those are like, I think just in general, man, if people were more accountable in their actions in their everyday life, it would really be such a better world that we live in. Yep. So, we've all made mistakes. I definitely have my fair share as well on both ends. I think karma definitely, comes back.
It sure did. It sure did. It did. It did. It really
Yeah.
did. And
It always does.
learned that lesson real quick. But
Yeah.
no, and then my friend is a medium.
Oh,
Peter Veth. You can book a reading with him. peterveth.com. Yeah. Free promo, bitch. You're welcome. I love him.
Not a sponsor, but yeah.
Yeah, literally. He's awesome, though. I love him. So he gave me a reading. He gave me a few readings, but at one point he gave me a reading where I think it was like 2021 or something like
Okay.
that. And he was like, in order for you to get the blessings that you deserve and the good opportunities that you deserve, you need to leave your relationship. And I'm like, no, I don't. So I let it go, and I lasted for another like 2 years, and I made the worst mistakes in those 2 years.
Interesting.
So like now that he was right, essentially, because after the breakup, I got the Celtics. I recorded the album. I performed at a bunch of Pride events. Like everything just started to fall into place, and I just was like, did I really have to let that person go in order to get this good stuff? That sucks. I don't want to have to hurt him in order to get to where I need to be. But then it's like, I didn't have to hurt him. I could have had the balls and been like, hey, I'm not happy. But I lasted so long because I just don't like disappointing people. And I was like, I could just push it under the rug. It's good. And then,
I can understand that.
Let that last for so long. And yeah, it was weird when I got the Celtics. I was like, I don't deserve this. I don't.
Yeah, that is a weird spot to be in.
It was so hard to be happy about it at first, and I wasn't at first when I got that, because I worked so damn hard for it. Of course I should be happy, but when I got it, I was like, the only person I want to share it with, I'm not with them anymore.
That sucks.
And then it's like, well, you did that to yourself, so then you don't have a leg to stand on. So it was a very weird spot, but then also being like, why do I get this good thing when I know that this other person is probably going through hell right now? And I just was like, I don't deserve it. It was hard for like, I would say like a month. I had to get it in my head. I'm like, you fucking deserve this. Hello. And then I got myself on depression medication, which has been a blessing. It has literally given me my life back, my passion back, my personality back, my everything. Now it's just given me time to reflect a lot more in a more healthy way, instead of a very self-deprecating negative way, where it was so hard to live with myself for 3 years. Like, I was so exhausting as a person, and to now be like where I am right now, a lot more freer, and having this album out at this time is so funny because I am not that negative anymore. Like, this next project I am working on is so much different, and I really think that it shows, because I feel so much different. I no longer feel the way I feel on Effects of the Gray, but I still love that freaking album, and I am so proud of that body of work and the songs that I wrote. And I was very clear to not be self-deprecating on that album. From what I'm thinking, I think habits is more just saying, I just blame my habits for my bad behavior. Like, I'm not going to take accountability, so I'm just going to blame everything else. And then I kind of go into blaming everyone else for my problems, and then getting to selfish, where it's like, okay, well, I could still be good. Can I still be good if I'm selfish, and take that time for myself? And then Save Me From Myself is kind of poking fun at myself and being like, okay, well, guess you are a stereotype. I guess I am those things that I say to myself. But then I think it is at the end of that song where I have a voice note from my friend where he kind of reminds me, it's like, maybe this is a lesson for you. And then it goes into the rest of the album where it's just sad. But to me, it taught me a huge lesson that I don't think I'll ever learn a bigger lesson than what I did, from this breakup. So I put it all into the music.
So first off, I want to thank you, because you got incredibly vulnerable, not only on the album, but right here with me. So I really, and for people to be listening and watching. So I appreciate that a lot. And I think this will help somebody.
that's kind of why I wanted to be that way, you know? And also just because I'm just like this in general. I'm very open-hearted, very Capricorn, very emotional, very hard on my sleeves. So like very selfless. That's also why I had a really hard problem with I'm not going to be around the bush, cheating. I cheated multiple times, more emotionally than physically, but doesn't matter. It was cheating. It was awful. It was wrong. I still think cheaters are scummy people. If you just open your mouth and say you're not happy, then a lot of problems will be solved. And I learned that the hard way.
Communication.
Yeah. But it sucks that I had to hurt someone in the process. So, you know, like that also is something that I'm still working on, but I've gotten a lot farther with it, thankfully. But
but at least you're not continually hurting people. Like I had the same. I was about 25, and I was kind of in a really dark place mentally and emotionally, just from certain things, trauma in my life. That some of it I had dealt with, some of it I hadn't, and I was just kind of dating around, if to put it PG.
Yep.
And it got to a point where. Yeah, I would do that to people where I wasn't necessarily in like long-term relationships with these women, but it was, I'd, be, I don't know, a little untruthful at times, or I'd be cold or I'd be, into them and then I'd drop them off the face of the earth type deal. And this one girl really put me in my place once. After a while, it was about a year of me doing this, and one girl I definitely had hurt, for sure. And, she said to me, I'll actually never forget it. She said, I think you're a really good guy, but you're not making great choices. And, I think you could just be so much better. And I hope that you figure it out because, I obviously didn't deserve the way you treated me, but I also don't think like you deserve it for yourself to be like acting this way. And it like, yeah,
right.
I mean, maybe
that would have been like,
quite
I
how
gotta
she said
change.
it. But, well, yeah, it kind of hit me.
That would have been a light switch.
Fuck. I was like, damn, she's like, that hits different than, oh, fuck you, you asshole. Like, you know what I mean?
Of course,
like,
it does.
Hits harder. And then the next girl I was with screwed me over so damn bad, right? And then I was like, all right then. But then it's crazy. Then almost similar with you, like then Carissa, who's been my partner for the last 4.5 years, and is literally the love of my life, the best person I've ever met, and comes back into my life from us knowing from each other in college, and always having feelings for her and everything like that in college.
Crazy.
But like then later on we ended up together. But it was one of those things where it was like, she's such a wholesome, sweet human being, and it's almost like similar deal of like, damn, do I like deserve this person, right? Like you almost have that imposter syndrome even in the relationship, right? That they more or less utilize that phrase as like a entertainment thing or for athletes or whatever, right? But I think you can maybe even have it as a general person, you know what I mean? Just like feeling as though like, do I even deserve this person? And I had to wrestle with that for a long time, but I'm glad I did because I'm definitely a lot happier now than I was, for sure. And that growth was necessary, and and I do still feel that I hurt those women, and I didn't do anything like horribly malicious, but I definitely emotionally like hurt them. I'll admit that 100%.
I did absolutely that. I did that too. I did it for a long time too. So like, kind of working on yourself is annoying. Being alone a lot is very annoying, but
you need that time alone.
You really need that time alone.
It's important because I don't always, I'm not saying I don't like these people, but I get frustrated with people that feel as though once they're in a relationship, they're in another one so fast. It's like you need that time.
I
to
can
like
never
reflect a little bit.
Could never be that type of person.
You
Thank God I'm not.
I wasn't either, truthfully. But
my community sucks for this reason. Okay, we are very much date hoppers. We love to just date, fuck. But like, there are a few that listen. I like to hook up like everyone else. Sometimes you have to. It's nice, whatever. But at the same time, like, I'm also not the type of person that does more one-off stands or does it all the time or whatever the case may be. So like for example, like when I broke up with my ex, I think I didn't do anything No, like a week after I kind of went into it, obviously. And then
Yeah,
it was
you
like a
go through
few
that
days
stage.
where I was like, no, we're not doing this. And so I kind of didn't do anything for like 2 months. Actually, maybe longer than that. And then
It's not a bad thing, though. It's actually probably a good thing, truthfully.
Yeah, and then kind of let me be a little more emotionally secure, so to then be like, okay, well, if I do want to hook up, then I know who to do it with, not search for it. You know, I want it to be more organic. I don't want to have to be looking on an app for it. I don't want it to be sleazy and stuff like that, because it doesn't help my healing process. It doesn't help anything. Negative in that regard would not help anything that's helping that I'm on my journey, you know. So if I'm going to hook up, it's going to be with someone I know and trust and whatever, or have like a normal thing. But at the same time, like, I could never date. I couldn't do that. I couldn't get emotionally invested in so many people and in such a short period of time.
It's not healthy.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And I got some
healthy.
friends that are like that, and I'm like, good for you, sis, but how are you? Like, I want to know, like, how are you doing? Like, really?
But I think in a lot of ways, you know, we've been there in some way, shape, or form. So it's like for us, we need to, you know, we've
even if it's not dating, you know, like
emotionally
sleeping around.
Oh yeah.
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
Using it for the same reason.
Yep.
So that's when we also kind of have to be like, okay, what are we getting out of this? Nothing. You know, like you get something out of it when you're emotionally secure.
Yeah.
You know, you definitely get something more out of it. So,
hey, look, a gay guy and a straight guy just had a great conversation about this. These conversations are possible.
They are. Thank God.
They're
it's nice
possible.
to see. It really is. It really is nice to see, especially on a predominantly straight guests podcast. It's nice to have it on a not. What am I trying to say? It's nice to have it.
I feel like he's about to insult me. Like, what's
no.
I'm just kidding.
It's nice to have it be a part of a podcast that is not labeled as an LGBT.
Oh,
podcast.
okay. I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying? I
Yes,
go back to what I was saying earlier.
Right.
It's nice to just be here to talk about my music and not about
Yeah.
my sexuality being like the poster reason.
Yeah,
why I'm
because
here.
we're all humans at the end of the day, right? We all have these similar emotions and feelings like this, just, you know, depending upon, you know, who you're attracted to. It's really at the end of the day, it's all the difference. So,
Yep. Exactly.
Well, I'm glad. Well, thanks for having the conversation and bringing this
Yeah.
up, because this was like, in a lot of ways, I appreciate it. I don't have these conversations all the time.
I don't either. So it's really nice,
Good.
especially with
Hell yeah.
straight people. Oh my God, I can count on my hand how many straight friends I have. So like, never happens.
Oh, well,
Straight guy friends. My girlfriends are different.
Yeah, I understand.
They're a whole
different
different
thing.
entity.
It's a different thing. I understand.
Yeah.
With Effects of the Gray, what's like your favorite? If you could choose, I know it's a lot of songs there, but what's like your favorite song, or maybe what's a good introductory song? Because I'd like to play a clip for the people, for them to kind of get a sense of what this album sounds like. What would be a good introduction to the album?
Dancing with My Shadow really is the
I'm
best
glad
introduction.
I'm glad you said that.
I hate
and that
when
was the single, right? Or one of the singles, right?
I hate when artists are like, my first single is like the best one. Like, no, I love when a person picks an album track, but really, like that song,
it's a dope song.
It hits every part of the album where, like, you know, I break into a rap in the second verse, and
I was gonna mention that too.
Yeah.
I was like, I was listening back to it in the car, and I don't think I ever caught it. I was like, oh wait, he actually kind of raps on this shit.
Hey, yeah,
it's kind of dope.
like a pop rap, yeah. But
yeah.
like,
It's not like you're not like spitting bars
No,
or something like that.
but it's
like
fun.
You got a little bit in there.
It was fun to do,
yeah.
So that, to me, that section kind of introduces the run of Handprint and Nightlight.
Yeah.
And you know, the synths of it all.
Sure.
It runs in through the whole album. So I think that is an amazing introduction to it.
Well, let's check it out. So, people, this is Dancing with My Shadow off Jared's brand new album, Effects of the Gray. And here's a quick snippet, and we will be right back.
Stood still when you made the kill. Did not think that I had the will to move on from you. I would die for you, pop from my chest for you. And you know that I lost my way for you, gave everything for you. So here's my thanks to you. Can't escape it every second. place for ya. Down here in hell for ya. Still feel away for ya. But you know that I won't come back to ya. I'll spell it out for ya. Feed your lies to ya. Let's get better every second. Dancing in my shadow. Dancing in my shadow. Dancing in my shadow. Dancing in my shadow. Left me to die. Infected my life. Now I pay the price. Dancing in my shadow. Memories I wish I could hide, but even at night, dancing with my shadow.
And that was Dancing with My Shadow off Jared Vasquez's new album, Effects of the Gray, which is out now. Linked in the description. If you liked what you heard, make sure you check out the whole project. We got to take a quick breather from main lesson because it's time for a pop quiz.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so for anyone that's a fan of Jared, have never listened to or watched a Turntable Teachers episode, Pop Quiz is a segment where we ask our guests rapid fire questions. Some of those questions might have to do with music. Some might have absolutely nothing to do with music at all. It's just stuff I found out.
Great.
So
Amazing.
nothing embarrassing, nothing incriminating.
Oh my
so
God,
don't
yeah,
worry.
No, we're good.
It gets easier and then it gets progressively
Okay,
harder.
let's do it.
So we'll talk about this pretty soon because you being a Celtics dancer, that's actually the next thing in the main lesson.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, who's your favorite Celtic player currently and why? If you had to choose.
Girl, I don't know basketball like that.
He doesn't.
No. Let me not, because seeing all the games on.
Yeah, I was about to
seeing
say,
all
like,
the games.
You have to watch a little bit of them, right?
I do. For the most part, I'm in the tunnel, like talking to someone. But like,
Right,
no,
right.
seeing Jaylen Brown do the dunks in person is ridiculous.
He's great, yeah.
And like having a relationship with the photographer, like I can see those pictures like right there. Like he'll sometimes like show me a sneak peek, and I'm like, it's crazy. So I would say
That was a good answer then. You're good.
I would say Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
Yes,
Jaylen Brown. I like it. What's the best part about Pride Month in your opinion?
No, this is going to be so counterintuitive, but no judgment, because especially I'm only speaking at the events, like Pride events,
Right.
There is virtually, at least from what I've seen, virtually no judgment, because we're all there. Everybody there is all queer. So what are we going to judge on? There's
Sure.
nothing to judge. That
Sure.
us people are the least judgiest people, because why the fuck would we want to be judged why would we want to judge if we don't want to be judged?
100%.
So I would say that. I know it's a little counterintuitive, but I would say that would
good
be my
answer. That's
answer.
fine.
Yeah.
All right, I'm excited for this one. Give me your best witch laugh.
Wait, because my best friends would say right now that if they were watching right now, they'd be like, play any voice memo from.
Oh, I've heard there's many voice memos.
My God, there's so many voice
I
memos
talked to some
of my.
people.
Who you talk to?
I ain't telling you who I talked to
There's
on air.
so many voice. Is that why you asked that fucking question?
Of course. How else would I have figured that out?
I laugh. I really do laugh like a witch, but I have to in order to get that laugh out of me, I gotta like really fucking laugh. So
All right, fine. Well,
maybe
I'll
we'll get it out, but
Maybe.
no, it's funny. It's a funny one. It really
Yeah,
is.
all right. So what I've heard is that you have.
I have a
quite the
cackle.
You
I
have
have
quite a cackle.
Cackle. So
And there's like a specific meme that gets thrown in. It's like I'll throw it up on the screen, but there's like a witch that comes out of like a floor or something like that. There it is. There it was.
Who did you talk to? Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, you got a little bit of it right there. So
There it is. There it is. I got it a little bit. Oh man. So you're a huge dog person.
Yes.
You're a dog walker currently, and you've been a dog groomer, and you just love dogs.
Love doggies.
I can even see a little bit in your tattoo.
Yes, my
for Blue.
Blueberry.
That was actually the question I had. What was one of
Yes.
your best memories with your dog Blue?
I love him so much. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to have him here and have most of the outfits.
That tattoo is very well done. It looks just
Isn't
like
it?
it looks just like him.
Yeah, it's crazy. My artist Nick Cabana, he works at Elegance.
That thing.
Elegance on
I like
Park
all your
Ave.
tattoos, but that one's.
Yeah,
that
no,
one's
he's
crazy.
amazing. He did this. My favorite
looks
memory
just like him.
with Blue. Oh, I was saying it's nice to have him on my arm because for the Celtics we wear like short shirtless shirts, and so like a lot of the pictures he's like right there, so it's so cool.
That's awesome.
I would say my favorite memory would just be singing with him. He would sing with me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so
love it.
if I would have like be hitting some high falsetto notes and like whatever the case may be, I would hear him in the other room like like get a nice little howl in. We eventually taught him how to howl, so like we could just go and he would just go off, and I loved it. I have so many videos of it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. What's the Mount Rush? I always like these Mount Rushmore questions. What's in your opinion? What is the Mount Rushmore of dog breeds? Like your 4 favorite dog breeds ever?
Ooh, good question. Golden Retrievers is in there.
Okay, I like Golden Retrievers too. They shed a lot.
They shed a lot, yes.
But they're a lot of fun.
Oh, they're just so much
fun. And they
fun.
typically always have good personalities.
Yeah, they do. They're just such a friendly breed most of the time.
Right.
I like every dog. I would say Poodles is my second.
Okay.
Because I have 3. Well, Blue was a poodle. Then my first dog, Rascal, was another one. And we have 3 at the house right now, my parents' house. So
Okay.
I grew up with poodles. Oh, my God. My third favorite is a Chihuahua.
Okay.
No, a lot of people don't like them, but like whenever we do like dog breed tests or quizzes or whatever, I always get Chihuahua, and I've always been called a Chihuahua.
Interesting.
So I take that with a badge of honor. So I'm like, yeah, I love those. That would be my first dog, absolutely, because they're just so easy to take care of. But like, I also just love how small they are. I love a small dog.
Okay.
And my 4th favorite breed. Oh my God, I'm on the spot. I would say, oh my God, there's so many. I'm trying to think of all the dogs that I groomed. Oh, a pit bull. Pit bulls.
Dude, crazy. One of my friends, he's my barber actually too. He's been a friend of mine forever. He has a pit.
Yeah.
And she is the sweetest
Oh my God.
thing.
They are the sweetest things ever.
Like,
Yep.
they get such a bad rep.
She's
do. Adorable. She just will like look up at you.
I know.
And doesn't say a word.
I know.
And she's just like, hey, pet me. Because they'll have her sometimes at the shop.
I know.
And
It's just the craziest
it's like
thing.
you forget she's there.
Yeah, they're so sweet.
She's the
Most,
best.
if not
I
all
would
the,
steal her.
if not, I think I've only had probably like 1-2 pitties in my grooming. I probably had more than that in my grooming career of 10 years.
Yeah.
But most of the dogs that I would groom that were pitties, they were the sweetest angels. If anything, timid. You know,
Sure.
Like, so
yeah, that's actually that's a good word for them, because I feel like sometimes
and not
when
aggressive, timid. More just
No.
like I'm just a little weary, but I'm sweet. So
I love
they're
them.
definitely up there. I don't know why I
great.
didn't think of that, but yeah.
Okay. I can't wait for these next few. What is the key to being an effective ringmaster in circus musical productions? I know you were one in 2012 and then in Canopy Lake Park.
2012. Who are you talking to? Yes. So that is actually really fucking funny because the monologue that I had to recite in 2012, I didn't actually recite it. It was lip sync.
Okay.
And so I lipped that at 18, and it was I think it's called Enter the Circus or Welcome to the Circus. And ironically, it's on Christina Aguilera's Back to Basic album. She's not even on the song. It's just an intro. It's an intro to the second part of her album.
Gotcha.
And so I obviously knew it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get to do that at 18. So I did that at 18. And then fast forward to, that was in 2012. So fast forward to 2019 when I got my dance contract at Canopy Lake Park. It was for 2 shows, actually. I was a backup dancer for their Taylor Swift tribute show because I do a bunch of tribute shows over there.
Okay.
So I was a dancer for that. And then there was a show called Twisted Circus where I was the ringmaster for it. And that required singing, dancing, acting. I had to speak all the monologues that I was doing, sing live, dance. Oh, God, it was everything. At 25, I was living the life. It was everything. And so when we got the first... when I got the intro where he was like, this is what you're going to be doing, I was like, no fucking way. Am I playing the same role, saying the same...
That's kind of crazy.
The exact same monologue, but this time I'm actually saying it.
Yeah.
Playing the same role.
That's
but
so
just
weird
in
how
like a
life happens like
professional
that.
way now.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it was weird. It caught me for a spin. I was like, this is so freaking cool. So I I texted my dance teacher and I was like, this is so wild. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What makes Evanescence the ideal artist to sing to while doing a sword swallowing and balancing routine?
That was fun. That was really fun. So that was my first contract back from COVID.
Okay.
Killing everything. So that was my first time like being on stage again, singing live. That contract was so much fun because I got flown out to Vegas for like a week for rehearsals because the people who put on the shows at Canopy, they're based in Vegas. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, so Canopy uses them. They're all based in Vegas.
Okay.
So they were like, we're using dancers from here. It's easier to just fly you out there. So I was like, all right. So we got flown out. I got flown out there for a week. We did rehearsals.
Sick.
The guy that I performed with, Andrew Stanton, he was actually on The X Factor or No. Great Britain's Got Talent. What do you know that?
Yeah,
show?
yeah.
I don't know why he was over there because he
the
is
British part of America.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
I don't know why he was over there because he's American, but he was on it, and he made like live shows and everything. Like this was just recent too. So we went down there, and we had to be sensitivity trained because he does crazy shit. So we had to just sensitivity training is just watching him do everything in front of us and just watching it.
It's quite training.
Yeah, basically because we have to help
Trial by
him do
fire.
the props and everything. So.
Yeah.
It was kind of awkward singing a ballad while he was screaming at the audience because that was like his gig, and he told me, he was like, I've never done this type of act to a ballad. It's always been to something crazy because he spins himself on a spear. So it was cool. It was when he wasn't screaming because it was kind of awkward, but when he wasn't, it was so cool to just have him like do something so daunting and so like dark while I'm singing a dark ballad. And that ballad actually really taught me a lot about my singing live. So I was so happy that I got to sing that song, and I was singing that song when I was like 8, 9, whenever it came out. So to do it like live was crazy. It was awesome.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love it. Great story. That's really
It was a very
awesome.
fun contract. Yeah.
All right, 2 more for you.
Yeah.
Which was the better trip, hiking and doing mock fashion shows in Portland, Oregon, or
Who the fuck did you talk to, Peter?
zip lining and feeding pigeons in Puerto Rico?
Okay, it was
No,
one of them, and it was probably either Nick or Peter. Okay,
one of them responded, one of them didn't. That's all I gotta say.
it was Nick. It was Nick, because Peter is such a.
I will not.
Peter
reveal.
has
I
a
refuse.
business, and he's terrible at responding.
I
but-
refuse to.
Oh,
reveal
I don't
my
know. It was
sources.
one of them, but anyway, I love you both. But so what was better? I loved the Portland trip so much. So, yeah, we went to Portland, Oregon in 2020, at the end of 2020, where, nobody should have been traveling, but the tickets were like dirt cheap. And we just secluded ourselves in a house and took a bunch of hiking trips and, didn't really do anything with anybody. We kind of just by ourselves. So that was so much fun just to get out of the house and go. Like, we were like, bitch, if we're going, we're going.
I'm a big hiker myself. Yeah.
all the way across the U.S. And those hiking trails are gorgeous.
Yeah, I want to get out there. That's like the West Coast hiking is like.
It is.
I've done so much of it on the East Coast at
Yeah.
this point. Like that's my next.
No, it is
'cause-
so
yeah.
gorgeous. You'll love it. There's a bunch of waterfalls, and they took my ass on a 4-hour waterfall hike. They didn't tell me it was going to be 4 hours. I don't think any of us knew really, but like I was not happy. But it was gorgeous, the scenery and everything.
Yeah.
And then Puerto Rico was just awesome. That was in May of 2021 because I'm Puerto Rican.
Right,
so
right.
going to my island was amazing for the first time, and going to Old San Juan was special, and just I felt at home, and being with my friends was awesome. I don't like Spanish food all that much. I know, but I still opened my palate when I was down there, and it was amazing. I loved it. But if I had to pick, I would probably say Portland was my favorite.
Dope.
Yeah.
Awesome. And last but not least, which is your favorite tattoo? I know you have a lot of tattoos. Do you
Blue.
Blue.
Easiest. Yeah, because
Other than I felt that was it.
So
all right,
other
besi-
than this
other than
one,
that one, because that's like super
okay,
sentiment. Yeah.
Other than that one, I would probably say this.
Okay.
Probably my Christmas ornament. So I'm rubbing my I have a Christmas ornament on my forearm that is for my godmother who passed away in 2018.
Okay.
She would always get me Christmas ornaments whenever I was a kid. So when she passed, I got this tattoo. She passed in July of 2018, and I got it for my birthday, January of 2019. And when I was like, what do I want to get to memorialize her, I was like, well, she got me a bunch of Christmas ornaments, so let me see if there are any that
That's
I can
sick.
find.
I love that.
So I opened the door where all of our Christmas stuff is, And that one was just right on top of the box. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I don't have to search. And I brought it to my tattoo artist who also did this one. And he took it for a few days, and then he was like, okay, I got the stencil. I was like, fucking wild how you could just draw that. So yeah, that's probably my favorite other than
amazing.
Blue.
I'm a tattoo guy myself. I have 2 half sleeves and I got a bunch.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you
That's
wouldn't know.
so funny. I would not have known that at all.
No one. People get surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a ton.
Wow, I
I
wouldn't
have
have known
probably
that.
like 13, 14 total. I mean, I guess the sleeves are like
But they're
a couple
big.
of different sessions. So like,
yeah.
yeah, I'll show you later.
Okay,
but like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna start taking clothes off on set.
I know, right?
But if you've been seeing maybe like the episodes like during the warmer months of the year,
I do feel like I remember seeing something.
I got quite a few.
But-
I love tattoos. I think
Yeah,
they're
I
great.
love 'em.
I mean, Ink Master is one of my favorite shows. Like I love
Yeah.
the idea of
The
just
aesthetic.
like the aesthetic of body art and just that being like a self-expression. You know,
Yeah.
it's a big thing for me,
Yep.
and it's sometimes even a therapy. It's not the greatest therapy.
I mean, I agree absolutely. That's why I have. I think
Weirdly
I have
enough,
like
that pain like is not pain. Like it's the weirdest pain you'll ever go through.
It's the weirdest pain because it hurts like a bitch, but at the same time, like
You'll sit there and tolerate it. 'cause
kind
you're
of
just
like it scratches an itch.
It's
so
That's a
weird.
good way to put it.
It's so
It
weird.
is bizarre.
It's
It is
weird.
bizarre.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was Pop Quiz. You
Yeah.
did great.
That was fun. I
Good.
love that.
I'm glad.
Yeah, that was
I'm
really
glad
fun.
you enjoyed it.
Who did you reach out to? I gotta text both of them now. I gotta figure that out.
I'll tell you off. I will not reveal them on air.
So
For his
funny.
sake. I want to talk about the Celtics. So dancing with them. So talk to me about the moment you had the audition. I'm really curious because I mean, we can talk obviously about, all the experiences you're having right now, but
Right.
I'm curious about in that audition, like take us there, like that moment. What did that feel like? Or were you just more or less like, were you nervous or was it more of the...
Yes. No, I was not chill at all. No, I was nervous. Yeah. Because my friend Patrick was on it the first time they were co-ed. So once I saw that, I was like, oh, I want to do it, or at least try to do it.
Sure.
And so it was a 4-hour audition, and it's vlogged.
4-hour audition?
Yeah, it was a 4-hour audition.
You have to dance for 4 hours?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So the whole thing is vlogged. So the whole thing is filmed, and it's on YouTube. So you get to see kind of what we went through.
Okay, interesting.
So we did, across the floor where we just did kicks and turns, jumps, I believe. And then we did like a little combo. And then we learned a full routine, did that in groups and stuff like that. And then we learned another routine, smaller routine. Did that in groups, and then the last part was the solo part where we all stood in one line and we just go out, do a solo for, a few 8 counts, and then there it is, and then go back into the line. And so that was freestyle. I hate freestyling. I am not a good freestyler, so that was kind of where I was really stressed, was the solo part of it. I pick up choreography well. I still hate doing small groups because, although I do love the performing aspect, it's weird. Auditions are just weird. You're dancing for approval and for acceptance, where it kind of takes away the joy of it. So that's why I hate auditions. But I would say that this audition, I didn't feel like any negativeness at all. Like I obviously, like, an audition is an audition. It sucks, but I felt like, especially from the coach, Marina is just amazing. She's so soft spoken. She really is. She talks like this most of the time. Even when she's like upset about something, she'll never really go past this. And because we get it, and that's why she doesn't have to raise her voice, because we get it, like, we'll work on it. And that's what I loved. And I caught that from the jump. And so that audition was just, I would say it's my second hardest audition. That Canopy audition was really hard, I gotta say. But this one, it was just hard because of endurance. We literally were doing this the entire 4 hours. And so it prepared me for that first rehearsal, because I actually threw up the second practice. My body was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing." So took a little bit to get used to it, but that audition process was definitely that first glimpse, and I was like, I could handle this. It's gonna be hard, but I could do it, and I'm very, very happy that I got on the team.
Well, that's awesome though, that you actually made the team. Like, obviously now let's take it up to speed. Like, you get the call, you're in,
So it wasn't even a call. You want to know what's crazy? All of us found out through an Instagram post. I know.
What?
I know. They wanted
so
to,
informal.
I know, right? They wanted to do a video reveal. So like,
That's kind of cool though. At the same,
it was fun, like to see, everybody come forward and who you would see, like the person who made it. They take their Celtics Entertainment on Instagram. They take their, they really got our back. They have like tons of content of us from behind the scenes games and stuff like that. So they were all there at the audition. So, the names are going. And then my name comes up, and I'm on the phone with my friend, and I just scream. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to be a Celtics dancer. And
so sick.
it's just wild. It was wild to now have that bucket list kind of be scratched off where I'm like, I get to perform at the Garden. It's like what?
40 times this year. Like that's
crazy.
That's
It's
incredible.
wild. Every
Yeah.
time I step on that floor and I look up, I'm like, oh my God, I've seen so many of my favorite artists here. Like,
Yeah.
and I get to be here. It's like, it's crazy. It's just so wild.
That's
so
incredible. Good
Yeah,
for you, man.
yeah.
Congratulations. That's such a
Thank you.
great feat. So you have like a specific memory so far or moment that I know you've only been doing it a couple months, but like for you,
Yeah.
like how how's this ride been so far?
It's been great. It's been amazing for my mental health. It really has. It's taught me so much discipline with my dancing, my cardio, taking care of my body at home. Like that,
Right, because you have to. It's like one of those
Yeah.
things where like you gotta
not
keep it-
really have to. Like dancing with like Kwame and everything. Like that was for recreational purposes. That was just for fun. Like
Sure.
So. Of course, you still have to take care of your body, but this
Oh,
is
no,
a
no,
whole
totally.
nother level, like whole nother level.
Of course, yeah.
And so it's just been awesome. It's been awesome getting to know everybody, gaining those friendships, and just having this opportunity to just be dancing at this level and to say that I could put this on my resume.
Yeah,
And
you are, or at some point you can
was
say
an
I
NBA
was
dancer.
an NBA dancer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What-
It's it's just wild that I can.
How many people can say that? Not as many as you'd think.
I'm just very thankful. Very
Well,
thankful that
congratulations.
all the years of practice and the money that my parents put into it didn't go to waste. So
How do
yeah.
are they pumped for you? How do
Oh
they feel
hell
about it?
yeah, they love it. Yeah, they always get bragging rights. My mom works at the hospital part time.
Oh, so she probably-
So she
all the
works
nurses.
front desk for the customer service. So she literally will have all the nurses come around when I send her like pictures and stuff like that, and they just go wild. So
That's so
they're
great.
so supportive. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to a Celtics game, make sure you
Check me out.
Make sure you check them out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe
no.
be there.
No, yeah, when I was at the last Celtics game with my cousin. I was like, hey, the guy at the way front, all the way to the right. Like, I know him. And he's like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, he's coming on my podcast pretty soon.
It's
And
so
here we-
cool. It's cool when like friends like tag me and stuff where like if I don't know that they're there, it's just like a nice surprise.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
Totally,
cool.
man.
It's fun.
I love it. Last question I have for you in the main lesson. This upcoming pop album you're creating.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me some insight on what it's gonna be like and why the direction of a pop album after you just had this like very introspective R&B album.
Yeah.
Why this?
It's a whole jump. It's like a
I know,
whole
that's-
180.
exactly.
I know it's weird. I know. Well, I think that I've always wanted to do a pop album. I've always been obsessed with pop music ever since I was a kid. Obviously, Britney Spears and Christina, and so I've always had a equal love for R&B and pop. And so I've actually never really touched pop in the way that I really want to.
Okay.
I've also been inspired by this one album called it's called Starfucker. It's by Slater. It's a
never
girl
heard
named Slater, and it is an immaculate pop album. Immaculate. And it came out in September. And it's so good. Very, very underrated. It's one of those albums where it's like, damn, this deserves a lot more love. So when I listened to that album, I was like, okay, well, now I really want to do this pop album because it has inspired me so much. So coming up with the track list was very weird. It was like, because I'm searching for beats I've never searched before, so finding new producers and finding new sounds and stuff like that. And I'm just so excited to have it come out. I'm definitely gonna have it come out for Pride Month next year. So it'll hopefully be out like maybe a week before Pride starts.
Okay.
Just to kind of get it in people's ears, and then hopefully just be performing a bunch in June. But it's just a fun dance album. that I can just cross off my bucket list and just be like, I did it. That's amazing that I did it. And I get to just have fun. You know, like a lot of songs of mine are emotional because they reflect a lot of what I was going through. So now that I'm in a very good space, my music is going to reflect that. And it's cool that it's going to be reflected in my sound as well. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Title for it yet? Any exclusive?
Afterglow is the title.
Afterglow. You guys heard it here first. It's a Turntable Teachers exclusive.
Yeah.
Afterglow.
I love that.
I like that. I like that as a name too for a pop album. That's a total.
I know, right? I thought that was.
It feels
very
like
cute.
a dance pop like night album, or almost like it's bringing almost like an '80s sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
there's a
got-
couple vibes of the song. There's a song called Nightfall on it that is very 80s vibe.
Cool.
So yeah, I can't wait for.
Well, looking
people
forward
hear it.
to hearing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you guys heard it here first. You got Effects of the Gray to hold you over for now. You got
Yes.
Spell It Out, the single with Lucas, Jita, and Lib off of
Yes.
Masterclass, my project that I helped cultivate. But 60 other creatives are a part of it. I should say it's our album. It's not really even
No,
mine.
it's an amazing body of work.
It's
all of ours, you know. So
it's everybody's.
But really,
We own it.
but for real, like you put everything together. Without you, none of this would be here. We wouldn't be having these opportunities, you know. So like, it really credit really goes to you.
Thank
'cause
you, Jared. I appreciate
we
that.
wouldn't. Us artists, yeah, we have the talent, but where the hell are we going to share the talent if we don't have someone that builds it for us? You know, builds an opportunity for us. So never lose that in your thought process. If you get lost in that, where it's like the talent is prevailing more, or whatever the case may be, like we wouldn't have any of this if it wasn't for people like you.
I know
So,
you guys all of you have been saying that. So many people that are part of it, but I just obviously get it. But it's the exact same way. It's like
Yeah,
it
right.
wouldn't be possible without you either. So
Right.
it's like we needed each other in a lot of ways to make
Exactly.
this happen. So
Yeah,
and
that's why
then-
it's equal.
Yes, of course. So yeah, Effects of the Gray,
Yes.
Spell It Out coming out soon, and then Afterglow, early
For the summer.
late spring, early summer.
Yeah, it'll be here.
Jared, thanks
This
so much.
was so much fun.
This was a great episode.
This was so much
I can't let you go quite yet though.
No, that's fine. That's
You got-
fine.
I know, yeah. You got one more question for you.
Okay.
This is the open response, and of course, in the open response, we do the dream song scenario.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll structure it for you. You get a song. It's a Jared Vasquez song. You get 1 to 2 producers and 3 guest artists. Can be any producers, any artists, dead or alive. Who would be on Jared Vasquez's dream song scenario? Take as much time as you need.
Well, my first thought went to he's so problematic, but I love his production. Timbaland. I would love to do a song with Timbaland. Or Dr. No. No. Why did I even think of him? Not Dr. Luke. No.
No.
Max Martin. That's who I was trying to think
Dr.
of.
Luke.
No,
Hell no.
God, no. I don't know why.
Kesha's
I
my
think
girl.
it's-
I love Kesha's new
I
album.
know. I
Kesha's
love
new album
her.
is so good.
I think it's because Max Martin and Dr. Luke kind of made the similar sounds at certain times, but
Okay.
definitely Max Martin. I think that he's
Max
so
Martin.
well versed
Cool.
in everything, so I would love that. Artist Tinashe, number 1.
Okay. I like
I
that.
am so annoying with Tinashe. Like, all my friends hate whenever I talk about her, and they know better not to say anything about it because I will not shut up. So,
So it just doesn't get brought
oh
up.
no, it doesn't get brought up at all. I love her. She's my queen. So definitely Tinashe would be number 1. I would also love to work with JoJo. I think that she would
JoJo,
be,
that's a throwback.
Yeah, she's awesome.
JoJo's
so she's come out with a bunch of music actually from
lately? Oh,
yeah.
no kidding. I'll have to.
So
I'll
she
have to- I used
got-
to like her stuff back in the day.
Yeah, so
yeah.
her story is, oh my God, her story is so sad. So she just basically was signed to a label that just owned her and just was like, you're not putting any music out. So she put no music out for I think like 11 years.
That's awful.
And
the worst.
yeah, she was just bound. So it was just terrible. So she finally got out of that, she put an amazing album out. Actually, I got it tattooed recently. Good to know that
That's from
her,
that's
from
from her.
JoJo.
No
Yeah,
kidding, okay.
That is, it's an amazing album. So after that, I was like, yeah, no, I need to work with you some way, somehow. And then my third would be, for like a male artist, I would say Giveon.
Ooh.
I would love to work with Giveon.
I like Giveon. And then your highs, his lows.
Oh my God, right? Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Of course.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking from like an
No,
executive
I love
production
that.
sort of
I didn't even
standpoint.
think of that. I
His voice
love
is
his album Give or
insane.
Take. That is an immaculate fucking top to bottom album. So, yeah, that would be insane. Our harmonies would be insane. So,
That would be a wild song. You got Timbaland and Max Martin on production. And
That would
then
be so cool.
Jared Vasquez featuring
Tinashe,
JoJo,
and
Giveon,
Giveon.
produced by Timbaland and Max Martin. I think it would be a smash.
Those harmonies would be insane because Tinashe's harmonies are ridiculous. Giveon's low notes, and then JoJo's. I need her to wail. I need
She's
her
just
to be in
gonna-
the background, just fucking wailing.
There's
so
some
running.
There's some
everything.
outro in there that's just
Yeah.
like epic.
That's just her. I just want it to just be her. That's yours. That's your moment, girl. If you're on my song, it's your song. Really, I'm just the guest.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jared Vasquez, everybody. Thank you so
Thank
much. Thanks so
you.
much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Last but not least, plug away. Where can the people find you? And anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to, say?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go for it.
I am so very, very, very proud of this album. I put my all into it. I've put my all into every project, but this really came with a lot of tears, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of changes. And so it would just mean the world if you could just take a spin on that wild ride. I'm so happy that it's finally out, so please listen to that. You can find me on Instagram, which I'm sure will be somewhere, but you can find me on Ronis_JV. And yeah, my pop album will be coming in June, and I'm so excited for that. So I'll be performing at a bunch of Pride events. I'm just manifesting that. So hopefully you'll see my face somewhere at Pride somewhere next year. So
Cool.
yeah.
Amazing. And if you're a fan of Jared, just coming on us for the first time, you can follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram, TikTok. Hit up our website, turntableteachers.com. And of course, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, if you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure to reach out to us at aoastudios.org to book your session today. Once again, Jared, thanks so much for being here.
you.
What a fantastic episode. As always, I'm Mike. That's Jared Vasquez with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn.